Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. And today I want to revisit the meta in Marvel Future Fight, and I want to take a look at how the new characters, the new uniforms have reshaped or moved the meta around a little bit. And I also want to talk about and see how much of the meta has solidified from previous updates, thereby having more of the community sort of attached to and copy and use really popular builds, really popular team-ups and characters to sort of reshape and evolve the meta. Now, just so you guys know, unlike the tier list, the meta snapshot, although it is still my opinion, it's less based on how I feel about a particular character, and it's more based on where I see the character landing in the game based on their usage. So it's a combination of their power level, of course, because people will naturally play strong characters, so the strongest characters are here, but if people don't play them, they won't be as high. So an example would be, you know, Ant-Man. Ant-Man's pretty good in PvP. He might be a little bit worse now because of Colossus, and we'll talk about that. But even when he was at his best before Colossus and he could one-shot Jean Grey and he could kill Thanos, people weren't using him. So he never really got higher than 5th or 6th or 7th because he just wasn't being used. On the other hand, you have characters that, you know, Jean Grey is #1, and yes, she's the best PvP character in the game, but if everyone decided to stop using Jean Grey, if all PvP teams just disappeared their Jean Grey and replaced them with someone else, she would drop out of the snapshot. She would drop out of the meta because she's not being used, therefore she cannot be part of the meta. It would be obviously extremely rare and silly for players to do that, but I just want to make that point, and I want to, you know, put that across to you guys. So let's go ahead and take a look at the list here, and let's take a look first at the new characters and new uniforms. So we've got Swordmaster here. I don't think Swordmaster is going to make it anywhere near the top 30 for PvE or PvP. Dr. Voodoo on the other hand, I will put him at 30. I think we can revisit him at the end. I like to go from top to bottom when it comes to these considerations in terms of like highest to lowest, because it's easier to conceptualize. And I also failed to mention at the beginning, but I'm also showing you guys my thoughts and my thought process, because I think this is a more interesting way of doing this video rather than doing all of the changes beforehand and then just talking about how I moved characters around. You can actually see me moving them around live, and then you can give your reactions and your comments down below. White Fox, I think, also got a pretty big bump here. I'm going to put her around 30th for probably both PvE and PvP, but I don't see her being any higher than that. Arrow, I see her a little bit in striker lists for PvE, and you know, she could be 30th for PvE, but I think she has no PvP value. Excuse me, let's put a 30-30 here for White Fox, and then for Arrow, I just think at best she's 30th for PvE with all that all defense down. Vision, again, same thing as Arrow. I don't see him going closer than like 25 maybe for PvE, and I don't see him having any PvP potential. Crescent, I don't see her being anywhere, even though I'm still waiting on someone to give me some feedback and some testing on Crescent. Rogue, I think, is one of the biggest surprises of this update. I think she's fantastic. She probably deserves to be in the top 15 for PvE, and she deserves to be somewhere on the list for PvP because of the fact that you can see the characters around here, Spider-Man 29 and Gambit. I think she's better than both of those characters straight up, so I think she definitely deserves a mention there. Sabretooth, I think he also deserves a mention somewhere. He's quite strong now. I see quite a bit of gameplay with him using a CTP of energy, using a CTP of rage, and he really does a lot of work as a physical damage dealing character against bosses like Proxima. He hits super hard. Scarlet Witch, I honestly think, is worse. I see people using her less and less and less, so I honestly think that she is just going to drop in the meta. I still see her used as a striker, but I really don't see people using her other than as a comparison for her old uniform and how people are just kind of disappointed with that. That's honestly what I am seeing. Quicksilver, on the other hand, he's going way up in both PvE and PvP. I see him everywhere. And Luna Snow, I also see her going up a little bit in the game, although not nearly as much as Quicksilver because he also got his tier 3. So now that we've made this sort of, you know, consideration for the existing characters, now let's see where we're going to put them on the PvE and PvP lists. Now I like to start with PvE, so that's what we are going to start with, and let's start with Quicksilver because right now he's pretty low down on the list at, where is Quicksilver? He's at 24. That's super low. I have him for World Boss and GBR, but he can absolutely do ABX as well, and he's actually even better at GBR now. So we definitely do need to consider him a lot higher than he currently stands. He's way better than Emma Frost at tier 3. He's way better than all of these characters. I'm still going up. I would say he's better than Silver Surfer. I would say he's probably better than Cyclops. We're going to drop Scarlet Witch, so he's probably better than Scarlet Witch as well. So let's start moving characters around here. It doesn't really matter where we move them to initially, but I do think that Quicksilver, I think he's better than Mr. Fantastic as well. And I think he's better than Psylocke. You know what? I think Thanos is too high for PvE as well. Is he better than Iron Man? Probably, yeah. Is he better than Captain America? Yeah, probably. Is he better than Jean Grey? Yeah, probably. Yeah, he probably is better than Jean Grey. The only thing, maybe GBR, he's stronger, but I think, honestly, he deserves to go right here. He hits super hard. He can do so many different world bosses, and he has, strong survivability as well as ignore or dodge, so he's got a lot of different weapons available to him. I think when I move this list back, I'm going to put Cyclops just above Psylocke, and I'm actually going to move Thanos down, so you guys can tell me what you think of that. I'm also going to move Mr. Fantastic above Thanos. Let me know what you guys think of that as well. And then I don't know where to put Scarlet Witch, so we're going to have to consider where to put Scarlet. I'm going to unbold some of these characters that I'm not moving around. But in the meantime, let's see. So we took care of Quicksilver there. Let's see about Luna Snow. Where's Luna? Luna's third. That's super high. Wow. I think she deserves to be second because, if anything, this uniform just made her better in every game mode that she's already good in, but it also gave her additional damage for those game modes. So she actually just got better. Now, Deadpool is still going to struggle against GBR, so I'm actually not sure why I put him there. I think this is just an old, I don't know why it's doing that. But yeah, Deadpool, he's definitely feeling the heat from players around him, from characters around him that are just better now in one way or another. So we got Luna Snow. Scarlet Witch, I honestly don't know where to put her. Is she better than Gambit? She really only does one world boss really well, and that's Ebony. She's a good striker, yeah, but where are we gonna put Rogue? Is Rogue better than Scarlet Witch? I think she might be. That's the thing. So let's put Scarlet Witch above Gambit, below Silver Surfer. I honestly think that's a fair place to put her. She does have some all defense down, but she just doesn't hit that hard with this new uniform, and her old uniform just didn't improve her enough. She's honestly not even that good at GBR. I should probably take that away. She's okay for, she's great for World Boss. She's okay for GBR, but she's really not amazing in the way that these characters should be, ought to be, to deserve that little GBR tag there. So I think that's also something to consider in general, is whether these characters are actually good for GBR. Yeah, Doctor Strange is okay for GBR, but a lot of these guys just don't get it done. I don't think Spider-Man 2099 is very good for GBR, let's be honest here. Doctor Doom is not good for GBR. I think this is a Master Mold type thing. Victorious is also not good for GBR. Emma Frost, Dream On. I'm mostly considering Galactus when I make these decisions, by the way. I'm not considering Master Mold very much because he was nerfed heavily when he was changed from Universal to... maybe Ronan is good. I'm not sure. We'll have to double check. Strife? No, I don't think so. But yeah, a lot of these characters, or a lot of these icons were here when Master Mold was still a Universal. He's not a Universal anymore, so that doesn't matter. Okay, moving along to Sabretooth. Sabretooth is actually not on this list at all, so I think we need to start getting rid of characters if we're going to make room for Rogue and Sabretooth and possibly Vision. Now, honestly, I don't see a lot of players using Emma Frost for much. I think she still deserves to be on the list, just not as high as she once was. I also don't see people using Victorious very often anymore because the score is almost the same for Minerva, but Minerva does other things well. I think that Sabretooth is probably going to be he's a better version of Minerva. His score in ABX is not as high, but he's better than her in pretty much every other aspect. So I think he deserves a place right around here. Sabretooth hits really hard. He doesn't have a ton of flexibility, but he hits really hard. So let's put him here at 70, and we will give him the World Boss tag for now, because I haven't really seen much else from him. I know he's not very good at ABX, and I haven't seen anything for GBR, but he does World Boss extremely well, with not even, the most insane build ever. So that's definitely something to consider. I do still think Gambit is a little bit high, so we might have to shift him around. He's good, but he's really a one-trick character. So is Cable. Is Cable really better than Sabretooth and Thor and Doctor Doom? I'm not too sure about that, but we're gonna X Kid Omega off the list. Molten Man has also taken a huge hit. I don't see him at all anymore because of Namor tier 3 and his his uniform. So we're actually going to remove Molten Man as well, and then we're going to bring in, well, we have to find somewhere for Emma Frost, so I think maybe we could put her at 30th and see what happens there. And then we want to put in Rogue. Now I think for Rogue we have to just move everything down. I'm gonna move Black Ghost Panther up and Human Torch down. We're gonna move this down as well. We're just gonna basically have to move everyone down to make room for Rogue. Now where does Rogue go is the question. Is she better than Thanos? Is she better than Silver Surfer? I don't know about that. But let's go ahead and put her, you know what, let's put her right under Scarlet Witch. And it's interesting. It's sort of, it's funny that she gets put right next to Gambit, if you guys know what I'm talking about here. So let's put Rogue there. And yeah, besides World Boss, I haven't seen too much from her, but again, she's a huge output for World Boss. She hits really, really hard for that. So we've taken care of the PvE side of things. Is Namor better than Captain Marvel? That is a good question. I honestly do think he is. He does everything she does better, except for maybe one World Boss, and he does it faster than she does in most cases. So you know what? I'm actually going to move Namor up, and Namor might not be done. Namor might be better than Sharon Rogers as well, because he hits like incredibly hard, and he does things incredibly quickly, and he's so easy to play. Yeah, I think that makes sense. So let's do that. I'm almost tempted to move Quicksilver up above Captain Marvel as well, but I won't for now. Oh, Quicksilver's not 70, he's tier 3. We got to change that. Okay, let's move over to the PvE side or PvP side of things. Do we have anywhere to put Arrow? I don't think so. I don't think Arrow is really... I mean, yeah, you could argue as a striker, she's probably about as good as Ronin. I mean, Ronin is more used as a character, but then Arrow is more used as a striker. I would say probably Dr. Voodoo deserves that list, to be on that list the most. Is Dr. Voodoo better than Strife? Yeah, probably. He's got the leadership and he's got the all defense down, so he's also available as a striker. So you know what? I'm actually going to bring Dr. Voodoo down here for 70. And we're going to do, again, the little mountain here for... That's not the mountain. We're going to do the little mountain here for World Boss. And voila. Okay, and then White Fox. Yeah, maybe I'm overvaluing White Fox. We did Arrow. We took care of Sabretooth. Scarlet Witch, we're going to have to talk about her for PvE. Luna Snow doesn't have any PvP. We still have to do some Quicksilver stuff. And then White Fox, yeah, maybe she's not as good for PvE as I thought, but she does have a place in PvP. So let's figure that out now. So I think we're going to get rid of Bishop. I don't see very many Bishops anymore. I do see a couple of White Foxes here, especially with not Doctor Doom, especially with, thank you for the invitation, but no, especially with Thanos and all of his power there. So we're gonna bring her in. Can I just get rid of that? Jeez. We're gonna bring her in here. Now let's take a look at the rest of the list here. I think we've seen a ton of Colossus. I really think Colossus continues to do really well. Namor I honestly don't see very much of at all. So I think we can drop him way down. I think we're also going to drop Scarlet Witch way down. She's just not very good. On the flip side, oh, poor Vision. On the flip side, I do think that Quicksilver, tier 3, is an absolute beast. I think he absolutely takes the cake. Why did that change to something else? I don't understand the little icons and why they decide to do this to me. Just go back and change it to a flame, okay? Don't worry about it. And there we go. So Quicksilver, on the other hand, definitely needs to go a lot higher. Come on, Excel. So we're going to put Quicksilver, like, he's really high now. I think he's tormenting Captain Marvel a little bit too much. So I really think Quicksilver probably lands himself there. And I almost am tempted to put Colossus above Captain Marvel. Not because he's better, but he's on every single team. He's absolutely everywhere. I don't see very many Strifes anymore. So we can probably decide to do that. We are seeing more Deadpools. We are seeing more Nick Furies as well, partially because of Thanos. But let's keep this as is. Let's just move we're actually not seeing very many Ant-Mans anymore, so I'm actually trying to figure out where to put, maybe put Doctor Strange up here and put Ant-Man down here, and then move Nick Fury up, and then kind of just move everyone else up. You are seeing more Wolverines, I will say that. I did see quite a few more Wolverines because of Quicksilver, so we have to do that as well. I don't see any, well, I see a lot fewer Victoriouses than before. That's definitely true. Let's slot Strife in there. Now, where can I put Rogue? Yeah, I think, like, I'm not seeing very many Rogues, so that is something to consider. I do think she has some potential, she has some value, but where exactly she would end up, I don't know. But I do think that these characters here are probably safe where they are. There's just really not much movement at the bottom because not many of these characters are very good to begin with, and they just didn't get any buffs, didn't get any changes. But White Fox is a new addition, so we'll put her there. We can probably just move these characters up. You know what? I will move Thor up a little bit to sort of reflect the damage that he can do to Silver Surfer. And I actually saw a lot of people suggesting Emma Frost as well for Silver Surfer, so I will acknowledge that. I'll put Rogue down here at the bottom, just on the flyer that people are using her. I have heard people use her, so it's not something that I'm just making up off the top of my head. I just haven't personally seen it in Vibranium, but that might just be because there's a lot of stuff happening in Vibranium. We'll put Scarlet Witch down here at 17. I honestly don't see her. I never see Scarlet Witch anymore, so you guys can let me know what you think of that. Namor Tier 3 is the last one that we've got here with question marks. We do see some Namors from time to time in PvP, so I think we will probably end up replacing someone here. Nova, maybe. Maybe we just replace Nova and we move everybody else up. Maybe not everybody else up, but maybe we move all of these up. And we just put Namor down here. What do you guys think of getting rid of Nova? When was the last time you guys saw a Nova in... when was the last time you guys saw Nova in any sort of PvP content? Let me know what you guys think. So yeah, let me know what you think of this meta snapshot, this new list here. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Where would you move things? And what do you think we should do about Nova? Well, Nova's not really an interesting or important thing. But yeah, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts, and thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care.